All right, welcome back. So we're going to look at the Native Instruments ecosystem. I said something in an earlier video that was surrounded by the MPC, but and it was something to the effect that if the Akai were to go out of business and I couldn't use the MPC ecosystem, I would say as of now in 2025, right now, that I would probably um, heavily consider the machine ecosystem, providing of two things. One, that they support the Mark III controller as they still do, and that they actually support the Mark II complete control. Okay, so with a very large asterisk in this whole thing, because they no longer make the Mark III, the Mark II complete control. And so I'm not going to get into what they, uh, you know, my opinions on Mark III, which I have a lot of them, but what I'm going to show you is what's possible with the Mark II. So don't mistake in this for whatever I say about the Mark II does not necessarily apply to the Mark III, and most of the stuff that I does not. Okay. All right. So the good news is you can get the Mark II controller, used uh, on the market for pretty cheap, and you also can get the machine Mark III controller pretty cheap. So having said this, if you build sort of what I call a closed-end ecosystem, which is real difficult to do because it just involves a lot of self-control, but you can take advantage of the third-party. Well, you can take advantage of the complete control and specifically the Machine Mark III. Its capability of really handling plugins just in general within the interface, and that's really one of the paramount benefits of Machine over like the MPC and other ecosystems. So here's what I'm going to show you how to get control over your third-party sounds mostly. And another thing I want to mention, I do feel even with MIDI musicians like myself that a lot of people gave up on the Machine for various amount of reasons. But one of the reasons I believe people gave up on it, it's very awkward to use in the beginning, especially if you're coming from like Pro Tools and stuff. It's a very head scratcher in the beginning to get around on it. It's very unconventional. And so if you can get past that, you will unlock a super coolness factor of what the Machine can do. And even the 2.0 was always and still always seems to be much more advanced than like the MPC in terms of some of the features that it can do that just the MPC just cannot do. And I'm not going to get into those particular features, but I am going to get into because my belief is if you can get through the sounds and if you can lick or if you can solve the issue with sounds, that's really all about my whole channel on YouTube. You can unlock everything else pretty easy. So let's go into here, and I'm going to go first hit the instances button. That's only on the Mark II. And I'm going to switch over from Logic to the Machine. And so for now, I'm going to go in and get the browser. And I'm going to go for now into sounds, into instruments. And we're going to look at, we already kind of know about this. This is all, this is the complete control, and this is sort of the complete whatever 15 16 and you can kind of see how you can go through here. But the problem is that that's great for Native Instruments stuff, but we don't always love Native Instruments for everything. We love them for some things, but not for everything. So we want to get into like a Roland Cloud, Omnisphere, maybe your MPC plugins like Fabric XL or whatever it might be, or your Rhodes Affair, or maybe you have a montage plugin. So if we can't get to that kind of stuff, then the muscle memory that you build in order to set your sounds up kind of becomes wasteful. It doesn't make any sense. So if we can adapt these plugins, so let's just take a look here. Here's Fret Affair, here's the D50 VST. All right. Here's Superior Drummer. Okay, these are not natively supported by NKS. I wish they would be, by the way. But so you saw I just went into Superior. Now this is not straight out of the box. You have to modify these, okay? And there's a script that you can find on the native. I learned the hard way where I kind of monkeyed around and looked at one script and said, okay, let me see if I can apply it to that. But there's a basically there's 3 folders. I'm going to tell you about this now. I don't expect you to really understand without really seeing. But there's a user folder, there's a distribution database folder, and there's a photos photo if you want your artwork to show up. And they all have to meet certain very specific guidelines for the NKS to actually address all the aspects. And there's also a hidden folder for your OGG files. These are your audio samples. Okay. But the one thing I learned from reverse engineering some of these, and it goes in alignment with the expansion pack system I did for the MPC, is that most people only want to use certain sounds. If you've got 15,000 presets, you're not going to use all 15,000 presets. But you might need 18 to 20 of them, right? So when I learned how to take like a program like Superior Drummer, where I've got over like 18 expansions, when I took the presets that I modified and saved them within the complete control layer, the metadata, and I was only picking up the patches that I made. So this is a patch that I made. Very cool. So if I load it, or if I had to get into an M1 patch. So let's go into the let's go into like if I go into bottle bells and then just go to the mixer. Just hit browse. Again, want something from Superior Drummer. Done. So you saw how easy it was to get through the third-party plugins. If I have to get something from Native Instruments, just pop in and you can grab something from Native Instruments. It's really pretty simple. Just select user, and now I'm in, Native Instruments right now. Now I'm in Native Instruments, Starlight. Right. Hit the user bank. Now I'm in all my third parties. So if I want to go into, so let's go into browse, and we're going to do we'll do it by vendor. So we're gonna browse through by vendor instead. So let's go to here. So if I go by Roland, now I just see Roland stuff. So if I go into D50, so factory. So see where the subbank is. I want you to see right here. This subbank, which is no longer present on the machine, on the Complete Control Mark III, is huge. And without it, without the ability to address things in subbanks, makes actually ruins the whole browsing experience. So that's the D50. Can go right over. So you see how I got bank A, B, C, D, E, F, G. This is all from the 5080. Without this bank, you can't do that on the Mark III. It's impossible. Again, and one of the really cool features is almost like a, we'll call it almost like a combi, but not really, like a multi, which in the native instruments, we'll go look at it through what they call groups. So here's a group, and I'm going to load this group, and you can see this sort of magical relationship between the Mark II, So here, MKS 80. Here's the MKS 20. And I can go to another group just by hitting another pad right here. And I can load like the drum group. This has got a couple drum kits on here. So if I go into here, so this first group is the basic cue from Superior. Second group has got the Native Instruments 80s kit. Get back and forth to either one easily. I can add another sound. It doesn't have to be a drum sound, but I can add another sound. Let's just go into here, and I'll just choose instruments, and we'll go by vendor. Tune track, for example. Load that in this third slot of the group. You get 16 slots per group. And I just choose to switch. I choose to use the mixer to switch because I like to have two different types of control surfaces. So here's this right here. And here's basic cue. And here's the 80s Native Instruments. Like if I want to write over that and load a sound, and let's say I want a Native Instruments kit, we'll go to 70s drummer. Done. Here's the mixer. the new kit I just loaded. If I want to save it, I can save it. So I can save, this particular group. I can. All right, so I haven't really got into the actual nuts and bolts in terms of like recording and the workflow, but the sound and the preset management. Now, in another video, I'm actually going to walk through, so stay tuned to the channel, and show you the files and where they have to be and what they look like to give you a visual example of how to reverse engineer these. It does take some tinkering, just like I did with the expansion packs. You do got to get your hands dirty. As I understand, it's not for everyone. I want to give a shout out to Jason over that Freelance MIDI, Audio MIDI. He's the guy that actually I bought the first few expansions from him, the N-Case adapters, and he did a really good job like on Omnisphere and stuff like that. So here's what he did with the Omnisphere. Okay, so let me just show you what he did. This is important. So let's go to Spectrasonics. So here's the subbank menu. Here's the bank menu. Factory. He took a lot of time to do all these. You can buy them at his website, Freelance MIDI. Now, I personally have taken a lot of those banks out, so you don't even see Atmosphere on here, or you don't even see Omnisphere. You see Atmosphere, like under the factory. Here's the subbank. Again, Complete Control Mark III doesn't have this feature. They've decided not to implement it, and we don't know why. But so here's Omnisphere, for example. And here we go. But you can see how, let's say I want to load another sound into here. Hit browse. So on the first second, if I want to load another Omnisphere sound, you hear how separate from the sound that the Roland and Eric Persing, like Eric Persing really defined a certain era of Roland. This is totally Roland. Like if I go into another slot on this group, all I have to do is go into here and go into Roland Cloud. Go into here. I'm going to go to my user bank and let's go pull up 80s Retro Synth. See how much that sounds like some of these Omnisphere? And this is from the 5080 that Eric Persing. There's Omnisphere. By the way, if I hit plugin, you can define these, and it might be hard to see, but I can actually adjust volume. I can bank over. Oops. Let's see. Pan. So you can adjust these levels here. Here's the filter. So that's where there are programs out there that can automate this whole process and apply them to all programs. That's something I haven't explored, but you just saw how easy it was to get from one program to another. Let's say I want to go and load, and I want to load a Korg legacy sound on this slot. Browse, Korg, and we'll go to the Triton. Right here, this is my keyboard group. I just hit this button here. Remember that? Go to another slot, hit browser, go where it says groups. Here's my drum, that drum group that I had created right here. Tab over here to the next preset. So hopefully you got an idea of like the potential if you can get. And by the way, stay tuned to the channel. I got another video coming where it's going to show the MPC software, and I'm going to use the Complete Control VST software as a plugin, and I'm going to show you how. And you can only do this on the Complete Control Mark II. You can't use the Mark III for that. It's got to be the Complete Control Mark II. And we'll go into depth as to why and all that. But there's like an in-between between the Maschine ecosystem, the beauty of how you can, harness these plugins, and there's the MPC ecosystem, which it's to my heart. And I'm going to show you how to integrate 90% of what I'm showing you here into the MPC, but it's going to be in desktop mode. So until next time, everyone, peace out.